Here's a video of a woman who kidnapped her husband in Nigeria because she was not paying her money, giving her and the children money, and having sex with her. Let me play the video.
Say you kidnap your husband. Two things where you tell us.
Because of him not taking me. Need to fuck me.
Need to fuck you.
Yes.
And what again?
Need to take care of children.
Need to take out children. Need to give you money.
Yes.
And he need to fuck you.
Yes.
So that's the reason why you decide to kidnap him. Is this the money that they collect from him? Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you very much. You now. Okay.
Let me explain what she said. She said that the reason why she kidnapped her husband was because he wasn't giving her and the children money and he wasn't having sex with her. And here's my idea. I think most guys, when I listen to some podcasts and people who talk about passport bros going to another country just to go and find a wife, I'm not going to shit on it and tell you that there's something wrong about it, but I would like you to understand something, that America has the biggest culture and they have the biggest influence to other countries. And because of that, most of the negative behaviors and attitude of the US transfers into other cultures. And there are only certain countries that restrict some things. For example, maybe China, maybe some fewer countries. But in Africa, most of our women here, and I'm not saying all, majority of our women in Africa, Nigeria specifically, where I'm talking from, majority of them buy the culture of the white people or of the US. Let me just not say the white people. And so the black culture, the black America or African American over there, or American African over there, the bad behavior of your women over there shrinks down to our culture. And do we blame the government for it? Maybe we have to blame our government for doing that, for accepting everything because we look up to you guys. But here's my advice, that passport bros, those guys who are making money and thinking, okay, you can go to another country and you're going to find women that are better than the women in the US. I think one of the things you have to consider is most women in other countries are more dangerous than the women in your countries. And some of them even are more promiscuous than the woman in your country. I think one of my advice would be, this is just one of my advice, you can take it or you leave it. My advice would be that if you are a man and you are trying to do something that has to do with passport bros, I think if you go to a country like Philippines and you love whatever is going on there, I think it's better you conduct some business with the culture, with the people in that culture or in that tradition or in that nation. And when you maybe work with them for a while, you begin to understand their women. And just because women dress traditionally does not mean they are traditional. Just because women act like they love their culture doesn't mean they are cultural women. You have to be careful to understand that people adopt things since we live in the social media world and people just buy into all kinds of things that are going on probably on Instagram. I don't know, and I can't say for a fact that this particular woman is actually having even an Android phone. Talkers of to say she's an Instagram, she probably is going on Instagram and seeing what is going on, and that's why she adopted those kind of ideas. I think she's a terrible person. I don't want to be a judge, but regardless, for you to have kidnapped your husband and collect a lot of money from him, it shows that you're a terrible person. But with that being said, I believe that men just have to be careful and don't let sex be a reason why you go to another country to say you love the women in those culture and then you want to date their women. I believe that majority of the time people do this because they don't understand the culture and they misunderstand. Most of these passport bros, they misunderstand tradition because people act traditional. They think that makes them traditional women. Because women dress because of their culture doesn't mean they are traditional women. Most of them have the idea of the modern women, but they still dress traditionally. In fact, I would say that even India, I am suspecting, and the way I see most of these Indians, I believe that most Indians also, Asians, Japans, and many other countries, Koreans, are adopting the idea of a modern women rather than even if they dress to be traditional. And so men who are going to these countries, you might just be a prey for those women and you're lost and you're fantasizing because you are not seeing the reality of who they are. I don't think that we should accept most of the bad behaviors of modern women, but I think that most of it boils down to Men have to have their own standards, and when you have your standards, you can mostly deal with any woman who wants to come into your life. If a woman tends to want to act crazy, you can let her go, but it doesn't mean that if you think that everybody in your environment is terrible and that is the reason why you are going into another environment, then the possibility that you also are a terrible person, I think, is what you have to consider. And what makes you think that other people on this other side are different from those people here? Just because people act different doesn't mean they don't do similar things. So we have to be careful of all this and why we make our moves. Have a blessed day. See you in my next video. If you want to hear more about these topics, click a like button and make a comment on my video. Adios, amigos, and subscribe to my channel.